Hey, good evening, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. We're going to get started here in just a moment. Give me 1 second. I'm going to share my screen and then let's do this and this. Awesome. You should all be seeing my screen now. We're going to get started in just a moment. We have a special speaker tonight. You'll learn more about him and his story in just a second, but we will get started at about 8:03 Eastern. It's 8 o'clock now. We'll get started in about 3 minutes. Thanks so much. All right, everyone, we're going to get started with tonight's presentation. Hope you all enjoy.
Welcome to Telling Your Personal Story. Today we're going to be talking about stories. We'll talk about what makes a compelling story and how we as organizers can use our own story to hit our goals and move others to action. I'd like to start this session off by telling you a little bit about myself by sharing my own personal story. I first got involved in politics when Barack Obama was on the scene. I was living in New York. I was in high school. I couldn't yet vote, but the energy was electric. And so I decided I'm going to come to DC to go to college. I don't know how. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm just going to give it a shot. And as someone who had lived in New York his whole life, I was a mix of anticipated and scared and really unsure of where I was going. I got into American and I started attending there the fall of 2009, which was just about a year after the financial collapse. So things were really scary. My dad lost his job. New York was starting to look like a land where dreams were no longer coming true, with the daily layoffs becoming more and more severe. So being in college, I thought, would be this kind of insulation against what were these economic hardships, but it really wasn't, because you could feel the pinch every day. You could feel the stakes getting higher. In the middle of my academic adventure at American, that was when I decided I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. In 2010, I came out to friends, to family, and I started this new journey of my life and trying to figure out where I was going personally and then professionally. And I decided that I didn't just want to do one thing in politics. I was concerned about LGBT rights. I was concerned about immigrant rights. I was concerned about voting rights. And I just decided I wanted to do it all. So shortly after I came back from being abroad at King's College London, I started looking for anything and everything just to stay involved in politics. So I've bounced around from PR firms to nonprofits and interning on campaigns and in Hill offices to being here at the DCCC because I want to do it all. And I'm not really satisfied just sitting down in one place and saying that this is my thing. You know, this is where I'm going to go. And it's been really rewarding. I've had a chance to, be at the Supreme Court when landmark decisions are being passed down and travel the country to meet with other LGBT organizers. And now I'm here at the DCCC with people who are reinventing campaigns because they care so much about the direction of this country and are looking for that course correction. And they know that it starts with the House. So it's been this extremely rewarding experience.
Okay.
All right, so enough about me. Here's our plan for today. We'll go through the key elements of a story. These are your building blocks for the final exercise. Then you'll watch a personal story video by someone you may or may not recognize. Then we'll go into our exercise where you craft your personal story. Right after that, you'll share what you've got. Before you go, we'll brief and then go through the next steps. So let's dive in. Our goals. Understand the principles of building relationships and trust through story. Practice moving people to action by understanding one's own story. And feel comfortable sharing your personal story. What does every story absolutely need to have? The core elements of a story are characters, heroes and villains. These are the people we fall in love with, identify with, cheer on, or boo. You need plot, the direction, and engaging purpose. Our stories need to have some purpose and direction, otherwise you get bored. Challenge, choice, conflict. Good stories have a conflict where the hero faces a critical challenge or question. And then the resolution. The decision regarding the challenge is made and the result becomes known, and hopefully it's a happy or inspiring ending. You kind of move between climax and consequence here. Theme, the moral, the lesson. What does the resolution of the conflict tell you? Remember the Harry Potter series? This is a perfect example of all of these devices coming together. Organizing stories follow a similar structure, and all good organizing stories need 4 things: challenge, choice, outcome, and ask. We need a challenge that we face, a choice we have to make, the outcome, and an ask for action that is inspired by the story. So let's look at each one of those a little closer. Challenge, the critical question that drives the story. The challenge is the part of your organizing story that keeps people hanging on to your every word because they want to know the outcome. In Harry Potter, you can say that the challenge is Harry defeating Voldemort and his idea of dark magic ruling the magic and the muggle worlds. The decision or choice made by the main character. Does Harry fight? Does he fulfill the prophecy that he's not sure is correct? All those kinds of questions. Organizing stories are similar in that there's a path that leads in 2 directions, and you have to choose to take one over the other. From here, you round out your story with the results of that decision, known as the outcome. Describe the outcome that emerged. And this could exemplify how you ended up in the fellowship program, or connect back to values or issues that resonate with your listener. Either way, this element should bring the story to an inspirational close, showing that when you made a decision to take action, it made or can make a difference. Outcome can be the most powerful and commonly underplayed element because it shows people what can be accomplished if you take action. This is a great opportunity to present the audience with a winning cause and motivation to get active. Last part, make an ask that the audience get involved, preferably in a specific activity at a set time and a set date. The beauty of an organizing story is that it presents the audience with an opportunity to act and become part of the story. These are the types of stories that we become fascinated and engrossed in. There are stories that inspire heroic activity and commitment, and possibly a 7-book series and then 8 movies after that. These ideas of telling your story as the cornerstone of organizing come from Marshall Ganz, who still serves as a professor at Harvard. He rightly taught that the most effective way to move any other person to action isn't just sympathy. It was telling a story about you, how they fit into the collective, and why right now was the moment to get involved. So now that we've unpackaged the elements of this story, let's see this thing in action. Watch this video of President Obama's speech when he was a senator back at the 2004 Democratic National Convention. Just click the link.
In 2004, then Illinois Senate candidate Barack Obama
on me with great pride. They stand here, and I stand here today, grateful for the diversity of my heritage, aware that my parents' dreams live on in my 2 precious daughters. I stand here knowing that my story is part of the larger American story, that I owe a debt to all of those who came before me, and that in no other country on earth is my story even possible. Tonight, we gather to affirm the greatness of our nation. Not because of the height of our skyscrapers or the power of our military or the size of our economy. Our pride is based on a very simple premise, summed up in a declaration made over 200 years ago. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That is the true genius of America. A faith in simple dreams, an insistence on small miracles, that we can tuck in our children at night and know that they are fed and clothed and safe from harm. That we can say what we think, write what we think without hearing a sudden knock on the door. That we can have an idea and start our own business without paying a bribe. That we can participate in the political process without fear of retribution, and that our votes will be counted, at least most of the time. This year, in this election, we are called to reaffirm our values and our commitments, to hold them against a hard reality, and see how we're measuring up to the legacy of our forebears and the promise of future generations. And fellow Americans, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, I say to you tonight, we have more work to do. More work to do for the workers I met in Galesburg, Illinois, who are losing their union jobs at the Maytag plant that's moving to Mexico, and now are having to compete with their own children for jobs that pay $7 an hour. More to do for the father that I met who was losing his job and choking back the tears, wondering how he would pay $4,500 a month for the drugs his son needs without the health benefits that he counted on. More to do for the young woman in East St. Louis and thousands more like her who has the grades, has the drive, has the will, but doesn't have the money to go to college. Now, don't get me wrong. The people I meet in small towns and big cities, in diners and office parks, they don't expect government to solve all their problems. They know they have to work hard to get ahead, and they want to. Go into the collar counties around Chicago, and people will tell you they don't want their tax money wasted by a welfare agency or by the Pentagon. Go into any inner city neighborhood, and folks will tell you that government alone can't teach our kids to learn. They know that parents have to teach, that children can't achieve unless we raise their expectations and turn off the television sets and eradicate the slander that says a black youth with a book is acting white. They know those things. People don't expect government to solve all their problems. But they sense deep in their bones that with just a slight change in priorities, we can make sure that every child in America has a decent shot at life, and that the doors of opportunity remain open to all. They know we can do better, and they want that choice. In this election, we offer that choice. Our party has chosen a man to lead us who embodies the best this country has to offer, and that man is John Kerry.
And enjoy. Here's another way to think about how we develop, use, and weave our stories together with others. First, you gotta have the roots. These are your key values and key life moments. They often intertwine. Then you have the base, your core story, the anchor from which you build other stories from. So first you identify your personal roots, and then you develop your base story. From there, we figure out how to ask questions of our audience to find out a way to make our story resonate more with them. This is your tree trunk. Asking questions and listening so you can make a connection between you and the listener to build a relationship. After this, we are able to have a broad reach and connection with lots of different people and move them to action. So, sounds a lot like branches, right? Branches can be various issues, constituencies, and different ways that you will connect and reach people. Okay, so let's try to wrap our heads around this, specifically in terms of our stories. Think about your roots. You process the world differently than a lot of your friends, coworkers, and neighbors. And you've chosen differently in this time. Some of the choices are why you're taking this training today. Instead of losing hope and becoming isolated, you got involved. Why? At the core of your personal motivation and the issues that resonate with you are values that you share with other D-Trip volunteers. These values get to the heart of why you are volunteering to support D-Trip's mission and policy agenda. They speak to a belief in a certain ideal for what America can and should look like. Look deeply. What motivated you to become an activist in the first place? When did you decide that politics and organizing mattered? Connecting your interests with your life experiences is a key tactic for illustrating why the D-Trip agenda is important for the lives of the people in your community. Your motivation might be related to your family, your faith, events in your childhood, your work, your school, or recreational activities. They may have been shaped by your race, ethnicity, economic and social circumstance, where you started in life and where you are now. This will become the root foundation of your personal story. Each of these questions will help you fill out the roots, that part of the tree, the very first part. When you interact with volunteers, constituents, or coalition partners, you'll draw from these and relate to them, and will learn to adapt and adjust to different audiences and issues. In this exercise, we're going to focus on creating your own organizing story using the framework of challenge, choice, and opportunity, and we're going to break it into 4 parts. 1, you'll do the first part, and this will be the story about why you became involved with the DCCC. 2, after reflecting on what you brought here today, you'll write your own story down. For the third part, you'll share the story with someone you trust. And lastly, shorten it to 2 minutes. Time yourself until you get it exactly right. Here's some extra questions to help you think of key experiences that shape your story to make your story of self.
All right, everyone. That's where I'm going to cut in. So tonight we're talking about stories and our stories of self. And as Jose was saying, we got a little homework for you all if you don't mind doing it. If you all would visit, it should pop up in just 1 second. Here we go. toolbox.d-us-your-story. You won't be able to find it just by going to Toolbox. You need to enter that exact URL in. But if you wouldn't mind to fill out this form and sharing your story with me. I'm Sam. I'm the digital organizing director. We've met before, I believe. And you know, your story is one of the most powerful tools we have to win the elections in November this year. The D-Trip is placing an extra strong emphasis this year on collecting stories of people from around the country about why they're investing in the elections, why they're stepping up to make a difference. And you all are the first example of people around the country who have stepped up to make a difference. You guys have volunteered to attend these trainings, to be our precinct captain, to be part of our program, to work with our organizers and our candidates around the country within your districts to help bring about real change in Washington. Because as we have all seen these past couple of weeks, or the last year even, things aren't so great there right now, and it's time for change, and it's time that we work together to do that. So as I said, if you all wouldn't mind visiting toolbox.d-us-your-story. It's actually in one of the emails that you all got from me earlier this year, or maybe from Anatole, I'm not sure, but it's there. Go there, share your story, and I'll make sure to respond to your story with my own, so we can learn to work with one another and how we can trust one another, and how we can help make these elections and these results the best possible. So, by the way, how awesome is President Obama? Missing him more than ever right now, especially after watching a video like that. It's a 19-minute video. I only showed us a couple of minutes of it just because, you know, for time's sake. You all can find it if you go to YouTube and you just search for at that time State Senator Barack Obama's speech at the 2004 convention. All of it is incredibly moving and motivating, and during those long nights when you're not sure why we're doing what we're doing, it's a good video to watch to help get inspired again. For those of you who think you're ready to take your story to video, we'll be sending around a link tomorrow where you can record those videos, or if you want to record a video on your cell phone or laptop and email it to me, that email, you all have it, but it's organizeto18 at dCCC.org. Organize218 at dtrip.org. That would be great. You know, we're trying to create a video story bank this year of all of our supporters and our activists about why they're fired up to get involved. But for those of you who might not be ready yet to go to video, if you're like me and you want to think on it for a second, because you know your story is important, and it's important to make sure that you get it right and that you're able to share the words you want to share in the most meaningful way. Go to toolbox.dCCC.org/tell-us-your-story. Submit it there, and I'll make sure to read through those stories and reach out to you, just with thoughts and comments and all that stuff. Yeah, tonight's a short one, so if anyone has any questions, we're open to Q&A at this time. We have one hand raised. I'm going to take your microphone live, Lisa. So just so you know. Lisa, are you there?
Maybe.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Is this presentation available somewhere that I can share it?
Yeah, so this presentation will be available tomorrow on the Toolbox website. It's toolbox.dccc.org/training-videos. And you'll also be able to find the training that we did last week there as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Does anyone else have a hand raised or have a question that they want to send over the chat? Awesome. Well, thank you all so much. You all have my email address. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Once again, we're asking you all as a little homework assignment to go to toolbox.dccc.org/tell-us-your-story. Looks like a question came in there. Can you repeat the website? Yeah, it's right up here, Beverly. I'm gonna chat you the link, and hopefully you get that there, and you can go there. Actually, I will do that for everyone in the chat window. I'm going to send this to all attendees. If you go to this website right there, you all should have just gotten a chat message, and you can go and submit your story for us. Oh, for the general videos as well. I will put that in the chat window as well. Let me just toolbox.dcc.org/training-videos. Yeah, there we go. And I'm going to put this in the chat right here. There you go. And then I will answer you like that. Awesome. Done that one. All right. Anyone else have any questions? I didn't mean to hop off so quick on y'all. It's a Wednesday night. I know we all got things we got to be doing. I know I got to get back to work over here. But if y'all got any questions, I'm here and ready to answer them. Otherwise, feel free to hop off. And I'm going to chat everyone my email address as well. That way you all can reach me. Well, you all, I'm guessing I've been getting my emails consistently throughout the week, so we should be good there. All right, looks like people are hopping off. I've got no more questions. I don't see anyone else with a raised hand. So we are gonna call it a night. Thank you all so much. Have a good one. Talk to you all next week.